It is 5:05 p.m. We were going to come on at about 5:11, but everything is up and running, so there's not a lot of traffic on here this evening on our platform for Ustream uh, due to some of the seasonal changes that are always going on. So usually it would be crowded. As I say, they have a lot of different channels going on, from sport channels to nature channels to gaming channels. That's a big thing. People have been, they play games using Ustream. They actually record and let people see all these different games, computerized games that they're playing all the time, people around the world. And of course, regular news casting has a lot of the major news organizations have this platform as well. I'm going to start with a prayer, and we're going to talk about a lot of different things tonight. It's going to be a continuation from my blog talk radio show last night. So, through divine power and by divine grace, blessings to everyone that gets an opportunity to watch the show live, as well as tune in at a later time this night, especially if when you see it uploaded into my YouTube channel. So, I want to bless each and every one of you with whatever the information that's going to come forward out of this evening, and I'm looking forward to answering any questions. If you or happen to be in our with an account here on Ustream yourself, then you could enter the chat room and leave a question for me. So I know that we'll be well, and all shall be well, and may you, each and every one of you, be blessed. So let me just start off. Greetings and welcome to Circle of Grace 1 with myself. And this is an opportunity for us, you know, you can also reach me through my private Facebook inbox. Some people can watch the show and then, used the private Facebook inbox. If you're already connected to me as a friend, you can leave your questions there. Also, when this show is later uploaded into my YouTube channel, you can also watch it there. And if you are have your own YouTube account, of course, you don't have to be one of my subscribers, but if you have your own YouTube account and you're watching it over there, or any of my videos, prior videos that I've had over the past 3, 4, 5 years or even more, because I started uploading, I think, in 2008, my own video programs. So you could always watch this program later again right here. But if you go on YouTube an hour later, it's uploaded into YouTube, and then from there you can also ask a question, or you could email me. You could send your questions to iam.circlegrace1 at yahoo.com or iam.circlegrace1 at gmail.com. So you get an opportunity to be connected with me in that regards. So I'm looking forward to having this opportunity this evening, and I'm going to basically go over and give a highlight really of what I was discussing last night. I'm also going to incorporate a meditation into this at the same time, and whatever other information that I am receiving, channeling from the celestial spirit guides, I will also deliver that right here as well. So, one of the things that I discussed the other day, yesterday, was basically for us to really understand that um, we need to kind of upgrade ourselves, and um, in this fact that we can do this. Okay, what happens is we have this golden opportunity to allow ourselves to receive light in terms of information. And what I was stating yesterday, our topic was treat yourself in every way. And it was based on chapter 31 of the late Reverend Ike's book, and his chapter was treat yourself right. And there were many ways that he splits it into four sections. Well, when we think about treating ourselves right in every way, what would that mean to you? Treating yourself right. Well, one of the things is most especially if you are a healer, you do some form of energetic healing with someone, whether you're doing qigong, pranic healing, uh, massage, ruffling, uh, Reiki, uh, and this is for those people who are sending out energies. Joe Ray, which has been around like for ages, okay, and other assorted distant healing, and all other types of healing energetic assessments that you are doing and then applying them to your various clients. Uh, Whether you are also a curandera, and you're working energetically with herbs to a person, you always have to find a way to treat yourself. Treating yourself between consultations, treating yourself between long time work association. And so it's not just taking a vacation, but what are you doing energetically for yourself? And when we think of doing things energetically for ourselves, that also involves you considering yourself first. As we know, it is very difficult to reach out and help someone else if you are unable to help yourself. If it's difficult for you to perform some kind of healing on another person if your energy is not balanced as well. It is hard for you to, let's say, raise somebody's energy or clear somebody's energy if your own energy isn't clear, if your own space isn't clear. Now, what I mean by your space being clear, many of us have different residential arrangements and dwellings. Sometimes your place can be cluttered. Well, there's such a thing as you could have clutter yet organized, clutter as I call it, or you can have clutter and the energy carries a low vibration. Or if you are a very strong-willed individual, you could have some clutter and yet you yourself are carrying a very high vibration in your auric field, which eventually overrides that clutter. So eventually means you start doing things anyway to reestablish your physical space where you dwell or where you work. So at some point, you're always going through some changes to raise your vibration, therefore raise the environment that you are in. So when we think of tonight about treating yourself in every way, we're talking about not just physically, because physically, you have to treat yourself right physically. We always have to fine tune our body with some form of exercise, some form of food that helps us. And when we talk about food, one of the things I want to say, now I'm not a vegan, not a vegetarian, but I've gone through the various stages off and on in my life since I was in my mid 20s, early 20s in college. I was introduced to vegetarian cuisines, yeah, East Indian cuisines, African cuisines that dealt just with no meat, chicken, or fish, just vegetables and spices. However, we all learn that the body has to be cleansed. It has to be purified. It has to be cleaned out. The blood has to become more alkaline, so that when you take the right food into your body, for you, your body can utilize it, turn it into the proper essences, which it does anyway, involuntarily, but you can assist it by through exercise, better exercise regimens, eating habits, and so forth, and also proper rest. But what people have to realize, and this is probably more important for those who are quote unquote the non meat eater, the non fowl, chicken, and a non fish eater. Okay, this is also a good comment, and it's a plus comment. I think of it as a very plus comment. It's very important for people not to pressure people who are not eating like they are. I'll say that again. If you have a regimen that works for you, do not use that regimen to place pressure on someone else just because they aren't doing what you're doing. Because usually what happens is we people are getting into their ego, which is then a power struggle because they want everybody to follow them. And often people aren't seeing everything that you're doing. Okay, so I know from some experiences over the years, I had dated people, women who were at that time vegetarians, but they had some bad attitudes, bad tempers. They were always mistreating people around them. So it didn't matter how good their food was that they were eating, and yeah, they were maintaining somewhat of a healthy regimen for their body, but yet they were also not balanced in the way they could have been emotionally. They weren't emotionally sensitive to other people around them. They weren't paying attention to how they were speaking or treating others. So, as we can see, a lot of this often has nothing to do with what you are eating. It's really what are your principles like? How are you demonstrating your principles in your own life? Because you don't really have to sell what you're doing for you to create an impact on another person's life or to enhance someone else's life. What's more important is that I would think, and most people may be totally aware with this and perhaps could be in agreement with this as well. It is better to serve yourself unconditional love, compassion, grace, greater understanding, greater awareness, sensitivity, and remembrance, greater truth to yourself. And make sure you're working on yourself, balancing yourself. You see, now if it is meant to be, those who you begin to attract to you will see that you are striving to live a better life. You're striving to enhance your own life. You're striving to maintain peace, harmony, and wellness for yourself on whatever that is for you. And whoever is drawn to your particular frequency, those people will vibe with that frequency as compared to someone else who is has a near perfect alkaline body and everything else, but may not be living with a sense of virtues, morals, and principles. So it's important that we learn to receive everyone as they are, and your life then can seed into their life, or their life can seed into yours. Many people around you who may not be on the same frequency where health is concerned or finances are concerned, but they have a way of committing in their own life and displaying emotional wellness to other people, mental wellness to other people around them. Okay, so I wanted to put that out because I noticed during even before my vacation with many people and after and just noting during vacation, just paying attention to people, and it's very very important that we don't beat each other over the head with what we know. Here's another take two in treating yourself in every way. I was walking back today from my walk, one of my walks that I do. Today I decided, after speaking with a person over the phone, a longtime client, and then going out for a walk and having a little light lunch out. As I was walking back, I was thinking of the term master and mastery. Master and mastery. And I've come to a conclusion, and I've had this conclusion for, I would say, the past 10 years or so. It's come to my awareness that there are many people who enjoy um, a certain level of mastery in their life. Whether you've mastered how to handle finances, property, but I notice people who are more into the metaphysical, spiritual, magical, shamanistic kind of communities are often, again, falling into the ego mind about being called a master. And many people sometimes want to be addressed as master all the time. Well, the reality of all of this is that it is very important for people to understand that perhaps your teacher is a master, but a true master doesn't remind you that they are a master. A true teacher reminds you that they are still learning. So, and they understand that even if they have acquired some level of mastery in their field over many different disciplines and subject matters, there's always room to learn. So they may sit with other masters or higher vibrational masters, ranking masters in whatever system, method, school that they or circle that they are involved in. But a true master remains humble. A true master is the first one to tell you that they are not your master. Because usually what happens is sometimes students are seeking a master to teach them. And they sometimes can attach themselves to that master physically, being constantly bonded with, seeing the master all the time. The master is at your disposal to pop questions at and things. The master is going to give you some good answers, or it's going to tell you how to go about finding the answer, how to apply the question properly so that you get the right answer, so that you can experience that answer. Or the teacher is going to remind you that they perhaps are more a master teacher, a master practitioner, but they should often remind you that they are not your master, meaning they're not the master over your mind, over your emotions, over your physical world, nor over your life. That master and their dedicated students called disciples are here to show you how to unlock the door to yourself to become the master in your own life, or whatever that discipline is that you're seeking and you're applying yourself to. Now, this is very important because often, and um, I've experienced it when I didn't know any better in my earlier years, studying martial arts and because I had more energy back then, more physical energy, a lot of physical energy. And I went in to study martial arts because I wanted to not be the victim of bullies and things. But then that switched to controlling my temper. I had a bad temper. I may not look like it, but I did. But that bad temper came out of periods of frustration with myself, or frustration with whatever I was going through in my life, or whatever I choose or learned later that I created in my own life. And these arrangements with various peers, siblings, relatives, and parents, and co-workers, and college buddies, and so forth. Uh, your boss, you know, neighbor, stranger. So I realized that it was about mastering myself. And till this day, many people will ask me, am I a master? And I'm the first to tell you no. Yes, I've been around and I've studied the principles of Tai Chi Chuan and Tai Chi since 1973. I've been involved with the concepts of martial arts since 1971, from Korean style, which is Taekwondo or Taekwondo, to Japanese, which is Shotokan, to Goju-Ryu, all these things. But I discovered along the way that I wasn't the physical fighter. I wasn't the Kumite style warrior. I was more in the head. And through Tai Chi, I learned through other Tai Chi masters of Tai Chi that actually I was more of I would use the Chi for healing, self healing, and then healing others and healing locations. That I was told, and that made sense. And I went out and did what they said. I went out and explored that to see, and I actually found out I wasn't the physical warrior. I was the spiritual warrior. I was more in touch with the energy that you don't see or hear about, but dealing with earth energy and things of that magnitude. So I bring this up because many times, and we all do it, we are seeking a master. We're seeking someone who could show us how to do exactly what they're doing. But what it is how do you do it exactly for you? So I want to just put that out there that master is really should be master teacher, and that master teacher, man or woman, is there to help you become on the level of self mastery, because that's what it's really about. Self mastery. Can you master the imperfections? Can you change the imperfections to a perfected state or perfections with yourself? Can you manipulate the energy with yourself? The energy in your body, the energy in your chi, in your chi, the energy in your auric field. Can you manipulate that energy into your environment and how you are relating to others? Relationships really deal with the energy factor. How much energy are you investing in a relationship? How much energy are you putting out? How much energy are you receiving? How much energy are you and the other individual are molding into a field of energy that is conducive and healing for the both of you? Mastery. It's really about self mastery. Everything that you touch is about, it should teach you something about yourself, something about your mind, something about your emotions, something about your physical body, something about your spiritual awareness. So I want to make sure that I got that point across because really the master that you're seeking is really yourself, and the other masters can become mentors for you. They could help you have a key, unlock a door of awareness, remembrance, consciousness, even the unconscious side of yourself. They could help you do that, but they can also help you best by taking a step back and not overly influencing you with what they are teaching you. So, often what you'd want, and this is what every teacher on whatever level would want, especially when it comes to sports or martial arts, things of that nature, and healing arts. their innate desire, their deepest desire of any master teacher, master practitioner that's been out and about doing what they've been doing for years and hours, thousands of hours, is what? Is to be able to pass the baton to the next person. In other words, to surpass you. If you're the master, if you're the one with all this self mastery, and you've got many people, some people are here, some people here, some people are here and don't realize it, some people are here and don't realize it. It's up to you to recognize where that student is and assist them in their awareness to open up their heart and open up their mind so they can see where they're at, so they can take the next step for themselves, so they can reach. So when we think about uh, how we can better treat ourselves in many ways, many of you out there have heard the word retreat. I'm going on a retreat. Well, if you start to meditate on the word retreat, separate the prefix, the re. The re actually means to re-elevate yourself, move yourself up. One of my good friends who sometimes gets to listen to my blog talk show and watch my Ustream show. She had her show last year on Blog Talk Radio with another associate, and her show was called Woman Re-Elevated. And she gave you a definition of that re-elevating, meaning to rise, to take your elevation where you're at currently and go to the next level. Not repeat the same level, but to go higher, to ennoble oneself, to go higher. So, when you go on a retreat, you're treating yourself. You're setting aside time with you to communicate with yourself, you in nature, or you might go on a silent retreat where you sit in silence through Zen meditation or another form of meditation. And it is a good discipline to be in a situation where you're with other people and you're in a state of silence. You don't have no cell phones with you. There might be a local phone, but it could be down the road, or that phone could be in the office of the retreat center. But you yourself aren't utilizing your phone. You're not on your computer, even if you could have them with you, but you're not constantly texting, you're not constantly doing this, you're not talking. You're allowing yourself to capture the ambiance, the essence of that weekend and everything you're being taught. So you could experience just having a life of silence for a weekend. Now, for some people, a weekend can be too much, so maybe you should try it for a day. Sit in silence, activate, do something in silence. If you're around other people, it would be good to weeks in advance to let them know on a particular day, I'm going to spend time to myself, or I'm going to do my work, but I'm not going to be engaged in verbal communication. Not only that, you're not going to be engaged in communication through social media, through texting, sending emails, or you're not going to even spend time on a computer reading emails or even through your smartphone. You're just going to take a break from all of that. You're going to step out of that energy field, and you're going to allow yourself to step into another form of energy, which is self-healing. So it's important that when you go on a retreat to understand that you're recreating an opportunity or creating a new opportunity to allow yourself to graduate to a whole another level, a whole other level of learning something new, or releasing things that you've been holding on to that are in essence blocking you. So when you're on a retreat, that's what a retreat should be. Just like when you go on a vacation, you don't want to be working on your vacation unless you set it up that way. If you set up it in advance, I'm going to do some work on my vacation, or I'm going to see one or two clients, or I'm going to teach a class, or I'm going to an area where I'm going to participate in a spiritual or business conference, and I'm going to be dealing with some people, but I'm going to have some downtime. If that is set up like that and you're looking forward to it, then so be it. Do that. But if you're seeking where you need to recharge that battery, recharge yourself, then you have to do something that allows you to do that. And it doesn't start when you arrive at the destination. It starts immediately when you begin to plan it, and immediately when you pack your bags, immediately when you step into your car or on the train or on the plane or on the bus. That's when it all begins. And what you should be doing is gradually peeling away so that when you arrive at your destination for your vacation or your retreat, you're not doing anything. It's all about recharging and relaxation. Maybe you need more rest, you get rest. So that's one of the ways. Usually I would have brought that part out later, but I needed to bring that out now. That was very, very important. Well, all of this hinges on self love. All of this hinges on self love. The maximum truth is self love. Maximum and maxim is the absolute truth of your existence is love, is loving yourself unconditionally, without sabotaging yourself, without beating up on yourself, without creating less value for yourself, but really taking into consideration of who you are as a spiritual being walking around inside this physical earthship called a body. And when you love yourself more, and as you love yourself more, then you have this opportunity to do what? To raise your self esteem. Esteem, you ever heard of people say, I'm about to introduce to you this esteemed guest speaker. This is somebody who has risen, who's had a certain level of accomplishments and achievements in their life. And they're considered to be a noble person in the sense that they have so much to offer. Well, the same thing happens for you. When you offer yourself love unconditionally, loving yourself as the way that you are, and then going from there and making minor changes with yourself. Loving yourself at the minor changes, but also loving yourself as to who you are at this very moment. Even if you're not sure of who you are, or you may not like every part of yourself, but there's some part of you that is deep down inside spiritually that is allowing you to do more than just survive from day to day, but actually thrive. So self love should be number one. Self love, I'm going to type that in here. Self love is number one. So get the greeting up there. Self love leads to self esteem. And I'm going to say healthy self esteem. That's first and foremost. Because once you can do that for yourself, and that's something that you pretty much work with every day. You work with every day treating yourself better, making yourself accountable to yourself. Okay, so you want to put that down. Make yourself accountable and responsible for yourself, which means your happiness and well being, because that's important. See, it's totally up to us to take command of that. It is not always good to leave it in the hands of other people. Now, let's not assume that other people have a different agenda where they're trying to control how you are. There are some relationships and settings that are like that. Some people want everyone to do the work for them, but not do the work for themselves so that they can enhance their own life, so they can feel better about their own life, so that they can change their own life. And this doesn't mean that, let's say, you might not have the best of living quarters or the best clothes in the world, or you probably don't have the first most expensive iPhone out on the market, or Android out on the market, the best top level computer. All those material things you may need at some point, but what you really, really, really desire, what you really should look at, is your self-worth. How much are you truly investing in yourself? I often tell people, and I used to have to tell people this when I lived back in New Jersey, and I was doing a lot of work, teaching a lot of classes and having a lot of consultations, and sometimes people wanted me to come to other locations and teach, do my meditations, and some in their house. And it used to be so interesting because people would say, "Oh wow, Brother Francis makes a lot of money on Friday night at that store every Friday. Maybe I can get him to. I'll set up where he can have a group of people, whether it's 10 people or 20 people in my house. If I could seat 20 people in there comfortably and everybody brings food." And I would look at the person because I know what they're getting ready to. They had set up in their mind. See, what the person had set up in their mind was they're going to present this to me because they want to make money off of what I'm doing, not so much about me helping the people and themselves. And so sometimes people would present it like, yeah, I'm going to set it all up, and here's the directions to get out, or I'll send somebody to pick you up halfway, or I'll meet you halfway and bring you to my place, and we continue to set up, the location for you to do this. And oh, I will get a free reading, right, along with the group, and I don't pay anything, right? Yeah, because they're the host or hostess. They don't pay. It's free for the host or hostess. So they don't pay me my $25 or $30 a head. Yes, they get a free reading because it's on their premises, but that's where it stops. Why? Because they have invited me to come. I didn't ask them. If I ask them, then it becomes like a little partnership arrangement. But if I'm being asked, then we have to consider here, and always consider, who's doing all the work. Because energetically, I'm rarely doing all the work. I'm reading the host or hostess. I'm reading any family members that are coming with them. They might get a discount if they have children there of legal age. Then I'm reading all of their friends and their friends that are coming. I might, and it would probably take me 2 hours. Do the meditation and read everybody in 2 to 2.5 hours. So that gets to a level where, okay, when it's all said and done, 24 hours later, I'm the one that has expended the most energy. So it is, uh, it is a thing where I am, doing a lot of the energy, and people are doing the latter part. Let me just answer this. Okay, so people may not understand, the work that entails. It's not just me being up on that particular day to do the work, but it takes, once it's set up, time and energy. Time and energy is utilized to do this level of work. But I say this to as an example that self-love leads to self-esteem, which leads to self-improvement, which leads to self-empowerment. And in this process, you learn not to prostitute yourself. You might have more skills than anybody else, but you still don't prostitute yourself. In other words, you just don't put your time and energy out there, do all that work, and don't get energetically compensated for it. And we know currency is an energy called money. So you have to be properly compensated. So you don't give that much of yourself. So this is a good thing for healers to understand. If you're happy charging $80 an hour on what you're doing, so be it, because you have to feel emotionally happy with that. It's not just mental happiness, but emotional happiness. See, some people, I have some clients back in Jersey, and they'll say, "Oh, the going price is $60." Well, the going price is $60 for that person that they dealt with. But I've been doing my work for 42 years. So I'm not worth $60 an hour at what I'm doing. I'm actually worth $300-400 an hour, but I make it $200 an hour. Put it right in the middle so everyone can receive it. So you always have to watch, the games that people play. The important thing is to understand who you are, what you are worth to yourself, how you value your own time and energy. And then sometimes you come to the realization that you're better off not even doing the work. Why? Because you sense there's going to be some haggling going on. You sense that's going to be, your work will be disrespected, or you will be disrespected. Or you sense disrespected in the sense of being cheated out of your finances. Or if you're not cheated out of your finances, there's just so much nonsense that goes on, it's draining. Where you tell yourself in the middle of what you're doing, you kind of wish you hadn't made the agreement to do it. You could have been doing something else. So you have to, as I say, you have to have accountability for yourself and be responsible for yourself, because your happiness and your well-being is for you, is what you choose to do. So self-love leads to self-esteem, a healthy self-esteem. Okay, uh, and these two, the self-love plus the self-esteem, both lead you into, and make sure I get this right, uh, self improvement, because you are improving yourself, right? And self empowerment, because you are empowering yourself. Now, once you do that, once you empower yourself, then you're free. See, when you get to that, freedom comes. Freedom comes. It's, you are free. You see, you are free because you're not getting caught in a trap. And again, this topic is treat yourself in every way. So you treat yourself in every way. There's no way possible that you could keep yourself from being blessed. It is not so much the world blessing you. It is that God and Goddess Spirit, Holy Spirit energy inside of you that's blessing you. You realize that there have been some impasses along the way, some hurdles, some obstacles, some things planted in your path. But then you realize too that you, the soul, may have planted those there as a wake-up call. That you reach a certain point in this earthly plane that you turn the switch on. You turn something off to turn something on. You get rid of something to make room for something. Make room for something that's going to enhance your life and is going to qualify you to yourself so that you feel better about your life and what you're doing to impact the world. Now, there's all other things. People can go to spas if they want to. Spas are great. We used to think, uh, well, growing up long ago, we used to think that only spa was for women. Spa is for everybody. Spa is a place where you can go and feel safe. Okay, where you get pampered. I'm using the letters now. S for safe and sound. You're being pampered. Okay, and A, wow, you're just feeling always relaxed there. You feel everything just flowing, right? So you have to create again an atmosphere for that. Maybe some people just need a good massage from someone who knows how to work the muscles. Or maybe you go to a chiropractor. You see a chiropractor once or twice a month. You see a massage person once or twice a month. People go get their toenails done. They get their fingernails done after they get their haircuts. They get the facial mask. They get an overall body mask. Okay, so what? To revitalize their skin, right? To reinvigorate their skin, their nails, their hair, just to have that, to pamper yourself, so you can feel better. That's what it's about, feeling better, and that's taking responsibility too and accountability, right? To make the necessary changes in your own life so that your life runs smoother, so that your body can carry you, the spirit. Our physical body should be, for all of us, at some level, tone. But we have to find out which discipline can help us do that. We all know that if you stick at a particular discipline for a long period of time, eventually your body has to acclimate itself. The body gets toned, the muscles get toned, the heartbeat picks up for that person, the blood picks up for that person, it gets clearer. More oxygen gets into the bloodstream through the lungs. Okay, the body goes through a cleansing process, but that happens with consistent behavior, consistent routine, a diligent routine. You know, getting yourself in the mind to commit to it so that you can do it. We know all of these things are always important, right? Because the more that we can do these things, the better we shall be. What are some other ways to treat yourself better? Well, you could treat yourself with sound, but you could treat yourself. Here's some other material things you could do before I even get into sound or crystals. You could give yourself, if you need to feel a sense of richness in your life, total abundance, total prosperity, and richness, the sense of wealth in your body, wealth in your consciousness, wealth in your environment. One of the things to do would be to shop, but you don't have to buy anything. You can go to a car dealership, look at Jaguars, Mercedes Benz, Fiats, all of those things. Now, yeah, it's true the salesperson knows when they look at you because they're sizing you up from the beginning, but they don't know who you are. But if you know something about the car, doesn't matter. You're just looking. You're just on the lot looking. You're just inside the building. You just want to get a feel for maybe it's something that you want, or you go to a car show. Back in when I lived on Long Island, New York, a group of us used to go to Madison Square Garden where they had car shows. And you could see every car that was the most important car. You see antique cars out there, collectible item type of cars, mint conditions, and then you go all the way up to the fancy of cars. Now, of course, one of my spiritual colleagues, she had a client who was the model for many of these cars. So we would see her there modeling on that turntable, that old thing, platform is moving, and she's standing there next to a Lamborghini. Or another day she's standing next to a Jaguar. So she's at these different locations, and that's her job, to stay in there. Her presence was to give an appearance, give a vibration that the people looking would not her, the people not looking at her somewhere, but to know that that car is possible to get because you'd have that lifestyle, the woman with the car. So these things uh, you could go to, or you go to open house. You don't have to have the money to put on a down payment. You just want to see the house. You just want to talk and see what's there, what's available. So you pick some areas. You look in the newspaper or online. They say Saturday or Sunday from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. open house, and you go. So you can see how the places are built. So you can see maybe if you want that or not, or you want it in that particular neighborhood or not. But you go, right? You go and see all the different rooms, the bathroom, the dining room, the family room, master bedroom, walk-in closets and all of that, and junior master bedrooms, and taking a look inside the sauna, whether it's indoors or outdoors, swimming pool. You just go. Why? Because you're taking on the atmosphere. You're breathing in the energy of wealth for yourself. Or maybe you've got some projects, business you want to start. So you go to your bank and you sit in the bank and you find out what is it that you need to open up a business banking account for the business that you're thinking about doing. You get all of that. Then you go to a small business administration or the retired businessman where they have the guys, the elder guys, which are sometimes connected to small business administration groups. And you go in there, or you go to a library. You do something that will enliven your thought processes and your emotions, so that you can reach and do that. Maybe you want to now go into sound therapy. Well, it can be, it can cost you nothing. You can go on YouTube and get, solfeggio tunes and listen to them and play them throughout your home all day long or in your office. Or you could purchase a set of solfeggio tones. Or you can get some tuning forks or Tibetan bowls or crystal triangles. Or you can get various other sound instruments, auto harps or flat harps, dulcimers, some music playing for yourself, crystal bowls. You can get anything you need to set that healing vibration in for yourself. To what? Retreat. To treat yourself, but raise the vibration of treating yourself so that you get the maximum. Not just the maximum effort and work, but you get the maximum healing for you at that time to bring wellness and balance to yourself. You can get crystals. Maybe it's a new crystal, or you cleanse your crystals, or you sage your environment. These are ways of treating yourself because you've got to set a whole new tone in place. You have to set a whole new tone in place. When I was back uh, in New York on Long Island, as well as when I lived in New Jersey, I had many clients that would approach me and say, "Would you? I'm going to buy a new car, or I've just bought this new car. Can I come to your home and can you bless it for me?" Now, at one point in the beginning, all I knew about was blessing the inside of an office, somebody's business, somebody's house. But after a while, I started getting called upon, and I would do it just for a donation, whatever they wanted. Give the donation didn't have to be finances. It could be, hey, they're taking me out somewhere, whatever. But I would bless the person's car, interior and exterior of the car, or a truck, or a SUV, whatever they had, I would bless it. Well, to change the vibration so that that vehicle is their vehicle That's their mode of transportation, and there's a certain sense of awareness, energy. There's a spirit force around it that they have to acclimate themselves to. So I would bless that. I would envision that. I would dress that car for them. Let it air out. I sage it out. Let it air out. And I get them in there, sage them down, get them in and let it air out. Bam. And they're on their way. Or I come to their home and do it. In any event, was help raising a vibration for that person so that they can best acclimate themselves to a better opportunity, more or less upgrading their energy. So I use crystals and all kind of things. There's other ways. People talk about spiritual baths. Do they actually work? Well, yeah, they do. And they work for you if your intention is right. They don't work for you if your intention is not there. Because it's you that's enlivening the energy. You're the one that is doing that. What is also important to know in all of this, in treating yourself better in every way, is that you don't have to explain what you're doing in detail to others. Because it's all about you, self mastery. Remember, I said earlier, a master, you'll know the master is a master because they're not telling you that they're a master. What they're telling you is they have acquired a certain degree of self mastery. And through their teachings, they're teaching you to do the same. I remember one time studying some Qigong. This is way back in 2000, no, actually in 1995. No, actually it was in 1994. I don't remember the Qigong's master. The master of Qigong's name was. But this gentleman, he was teaching Qigong. Ermeiqiqong. With the Q's in place, that was the way that Chinese, traditional Chinese, spell Qigong. Qigong. And so it was a weekend class. It was interesting. Now, the flyers are saying he's a master. Yes, flyer says that he's a master. And he had like, when we looked up him on the internet, this man had reams and reams and reams and reams of information that proved that he was a master in all these different people, where he taught around the world. But when he taught that weekend, and he taught very little English, so he had his daughter and his son and his wife to do a lot of the interpretations for him. So it always took a little longer, but he would explain it as simple as possible so they could explain it to us in a simple format through English. There was this one woman that came, and she really respected him. Now, when she first came, along with a lot of other people, she was bowing. But like every time he came to help her out, she would bow to him. And I mean bow deeply from the waist. And he would just look at his son or daughter or his wife, whoever was there with him. And you could tell there was some level of quiet communication going on between he and his family members that were his assistants. And throughout the day, whenever she wanted to talk to him, even when there was a break, now we were there like from 9 o'clock in the morning all the way. In fact, we started at 8 o'clock in the morning. We went all the way. The class was over by 5 p.m. We had a 45-minute lunch break in between. So you had to bring your own lunch. We had a 45-minute lunch break. Okay? That means this man taught 3 hours straight in the front and 3 hours straight on the other side of it. You had a 45-minute lunch break. And when he was saying, like, you bow out of courtesy, but she had this knack where she had to get right up in the front row. And eventually, she was kind of crowding his space, so she was so excited to be in his presence that he actually got up on the stage, and his wife, his son, and his daughter did the interpretation, and they also did the movements. And at some point, when they took the break, even a little 5-minute rest break between the morning session and the afternoon session, not counting she was constantly all over him. Not only her, but her husband. And they were all over, always in his presence. And after a while, he said to her on the side that it is not necessary to bow to him. And at first she didn't get it. But when it came to, because we went like a Saturday and a Sunday, when we came in the afternoon part where we were learning the freestyle Tai Chi, she was just back, if she wasn't doing it, the husband was doing it. And after a while, he had to get on the mic. He had to explain to his wife. And his wife got on the mic and says, "We're not directing this at any one person. There was like 100 of us there, 75 of us there. And this place could hold 125. It is not necessary to treat Master Zhuang with that much intensity of bowing. He's here to show you to have self-mastery. He is a master, yes, but he's a master over the art and the master of himself, not the master of you." So the message was, when you're bowing to the master's bowing back to you. He's not just standing there. He or she is just not standing there. The bowing is out of respect to each other. You bow to the master, you're basically saying, you respect who they are, and the master's bowing back to you, respecting who you are. It's not like master's up here and you're way down here in the valley somewhere, and the master's always on the hilltop. So, what that master did was, at the end of the class on Saturday, he says, when everybody comes in, Sunday, the place is open at 8 o'clock Sunday morning. When everybody comes, please, everybody start warming up their bodies, and he's going to come in at 8:30, and then he's going to warm up his body, and he's going to kick it off at 9 o'clock. And he says, when I come in, do not stop, turn, and bow. It is not necessary. We're going to bow twice. When I start the class and when the class is over. Not continuous bowing. It is not necessary. So I say that, again, if you're going to study with somebody, and it's a martial art or pranic healing, I know in pranic healing they have this thing when they bow like 108 times. And that is to bring that Buddhic energy up in yourself of humility. And it also does help yourself and limbers your body. But in reality, it is not necessary. I'll say it again. It is not necessary. Every master wants to be treated as a master, but they want to be treated as an equal. So if you're bowing to the master, you have to accept the humility coming back from the master. You see, accept the humility, which is the common thread coming back, unconditional love coming back. That's why the master is bowing back, because the master loves you unconditionally. So they bow back to you. In reality, the master is on such a higher level than you are. The master is actually sending you energy that will heighten your awareness about yourself, so that it helps clear your path toward self-mastery. So you have sound, you have crystals. The spirit has me just going on and on about this, but It's essential so that we know. When you are doing these things, you also learn to ask for help. That's why the master's there. That's why you're going forward to get assistance. Because yes, it's okay. It's okay. Now, one of the things I'm going to jump right into Reverend Knight's book here, because this is what he tells you to do. This is in a nutshell. I'm just going to read you the titles within the chapter. He says here, "Treat Yourself Right" by Dr. Frederick Aiken Rincota. Chapter 31 of his book. And I've had this book since 2009. This is my second book because my original book was worn out and I gave it to somebody. And I had it as far back as the 80s. So I had this book about maybe 2 or 3 times. I'm not going to read you the biblical part that he uses, but his science, a science of living principle in Treat Yourself Right is you are you are the most important person in your life. That's what I'm talking about here. You are the most important person in your life. It is important for you to want to do better, but you have to treat yourself with respect, self-respect. You got to honor yourself. Yeah, you might have some things off with yourself. You're not Mr. or Mrs. Perfect all the time. But you must realize, have accountability for yourself, have responsibility. What is responsibility? Responsibility means the ability to respond into this genre of taking care of yourself. Accountability is the ability to be accounted for. You know, when you're being accounted for in a classroom and they have a roll call and they call your name, what do you say? Here. You're being accountable. You here, number one, I'm here. I'm present. Even though the teacher can see you in the classroom, but if you don't respond to your name, then you're not there. Okay, so it's the same thing in your own life. You're the most important person. And many people put other people ahead of them. This happens all the time in marital relationships and relationships where couples aren't even married yet. They're dating long term, right? And I see it all the time where men and women who are givers in their relationship are constantly thinking about the children, whether they're their biological children or their stepchildren or their adopted children. They're giving of themselves. They're doing everything. Everything is falling on them. You know, husband give up the paycheck. They figure out how the bills are to be paid so they can live where they're living. Many people have learned to do that very well, very well, and meet things on time very well. So this is what everyone is striving. You always say you need assistance, to help you at different stages, different platforms of your life. But you you are still number one, just like everyone else is. So you got to what? Put yourself first. Now, as he says here, don't let your ego put you first. So that's what I was talking earlier about. Some people, when they refer to themselves as a master teacher, they're constantly pounding it on the person's head through their ego that I am your master teacher. I am the only one that knows what I know. If the person is asking you to do some research, when you're doing the research, that research should be getting you into position to not only understand what it takes to be a master, but a master unto yourself, a master of your own destiny that you keep creating. But if you don't allow yourself to be aware that you're on the road of self mastery, then if you're asking for too much assistance, then you put yourself in a position where the other person is calling the shots for you. They're dictating how your life is to be instead of suggesting the different things. that are being made available to you and that you can make available to yourself. So it's important to move yourself into a position of understanding that you come first. You come first. Everybody in a relationship, you come first. That's why it's always been said that, if you're getting together with another person, think very carefully why. People say, well, I want to be in a relationship and that way I will be happier or I'll be happy. Well, what that actually means is I am unable to make myself happy. I therefore needs to compare myself to someone else. I'm looking for that romantic partner, potential marriage partner to make me happy. No, you have to be happy before you go into that relationship. This is why it's important for people to live alone, live by themselves. This is why it's important when couples get together that they both have their own places that they stay in. That way, I used to tell this to my niece. I said, don't be so eager to move in with the boyfriend. Why? Because you move in with the boyfriend, and if it's the boyfriend's place, when you have some big argument, where do you go? You might have to go out and leave the place. Or if you got the key, if it gets too bad, they throw you out. And then they change the lock. Now, where do you go? Have your own place. Whether it's a castle or just a room, have your own place. Spend some time at their place, and they spend some time at your place till you decide that this relationship is growing to another level, and now you can think of having your own together. So it says here, put yourself first, be your own best friend. He says, and the way you treat yourself tells other people how to treat you. The way you treat yourself tells other people how to treat you. So if people see you being disrespectful to yourself, people see you cussing and carrying on, people see you not taking any level of pride in yourself, doesn't mean you have to have royal robes on, but dress nice and neat. Take better care of yourself. Do what you can to live better. Then people can say, well, this person has a level of self-respect. Because why? You got principles. You have principles. So as long as you have principles and you're striving to live those principles out, that shows other people exactly who you are. Also, if you're keeping a lot of negativity, a lot of negative personalities away from you, that also equally helps you. Then he says, be good to yourself. As I said, like you go on a retreat, go on a vacation. Do it because you want to go. That's why people say, well, I'm going to go to this place, I'm going to shop here, I'm going to buy some things. Why? Because it makes the person feel good. That's why. That's their medicine. They're not going on vacation and going and getting drunk and then acting out and making everybody else feel uncomfortable. That's not that's not where you want to be. That's not how you want to show who you are. You don't want to demonstrate that. You want to be loving and kind to yourself. Then what's another thing that he says in here? Enjoy the good that you have. Look around. There's many good things that you already have in motion. Maybe you have your own house, your own apartment, your own car. You take good care of all those things. You got nice clothes for yourself. Clothes is cleaned all the time, pressed all the time, looking good all the time for yourself. Doing what makes you feel good. Going to a movie, going to a play, going to an art museum. Making yourself feel good. Doing things that uplift your spirit. Maybe you're a person that goes and volunteers for organizations. All those things. You're not volunteering out of ego. You're volunteering out of your heart, unconditional love. You got principles. Remember that. You have principles, those principles help you. He says the enjoyment of your good increases and multiplies the good. So he says sweeten everything now. Enjoy the best now. Reverend Ike was a guy, he's like treat yourself to a good dinner. Reverend Ike was a guy that when he didn't have anything, and he said he used to be in New York City when he finally moved up from South Carolina to New York City after being in the service and the military. He used to walk around in Central Park West area, Columbus Circle, and he would go to places where it was very expensive to have breakfast, lunch, or dinner. But he would go in there and order tea and toast. And he would go in there dressed up, ordering tea and toast. Why? To influence himself, to create a picturization in his own mind that he could accomplish what he was striving to do for himself. He was setting his mind up for success, setting his life up for attracting abundance to him, and more prosperity to him, and more good times to him, and better people around him. Now, this didn't happen overnight, but the way he was talking about it, that over a 10-year stretch, he began, we're talking about back in the 50s, late 50s, because I remember listening to him when I had my asthma attacks and stayed home from school, and my mother would listen to her gospel stations in the morning, and then she'd get me up out of bed and have me sitting at the kitchen table with her with a notebook. I'd have my notebook, and my mom would have her notebook. And at about 11 o'clock in the morning, we would listen. It would go from Boston, Massachusetts, United Palace of Christ. That's what his church was called. Reverend Ike. And then you hear him go on, this promo. You can't lose with the stuff I use. And all of these things. And he would come on and do his radio program. In his radio program, he was on for approximately an hour, sometimes, every day. And sometimes he would be on for 2 hours. But he was teaching from this. He was teaching, he had I think it might have been in dark blue or green, but he was teaching. He had all his teachings together, and this is what he was talking about. All these different things. How to improve your life. So, he says you got to prepare yourself for the sweet by and by. That means in every moment, this opportunity is presenting itself to you in every moment. That you're seeking to do something better for your life in every moment. My question to you, what are you doing to enhance your life and create sweetness in every moment for yourself? I can tell you it has nothing to do with comparing yourself to other people. You want to have a more abundant life for yourself. So he's saying enjoy your good right here and right now. You don't have to wait. Treat yourself right. Here are some affirmative treatments. I am, this is in capital letters, the words I am, the most important person in my life. I am treating myself correctly. I am enjoying all the good I have right here and right now. I am enjoying the sweet now and now. I am enjoying all the blessings God has bestowed upon me. My right belief about myself goes forth and causes everyone in my experience to be right with me. That goes along with a old late Jose Silva would say of the Silver Mind method. I'm in the right place at the right time with the right people, or engaged with the right people, communicating with the right people. Every moment was right. Now what people are saying, this very moment is as it should be. is it's right for you. So even if it's not the greatest successful point, but you should be able to launch forward, leap forward, knowing with what you know. Like, for example, I may not be happy with the elections, but after the initial upsetness, you have to calm back down. You got to step inside yourself, and you still have to move forward. My motto has always been, no matter who's in the White House, I shall succeed. No matter who's president, no matter who's in Congress, House of Representatives, I shall succeed. Why? I have a mission to be successful unto myself, for myself, and to assist other people to do the same. Therefore, I'm not going to let anything interrupt my flow. So let's do a meditation. Because he says here, thank you, Father, thank you, God, in me. God is in you. And the whole idea, he says, the enjoyment of good increases and multiplies the good. You got to enjoy your life in order to have a better life. You have to realize the one that you are in. Like, ask yourself, how did I get to this point right now? Can you ask yourself that? Can you point out some things that are very good for yourself right now? Can you point out when you had some of the best times? Can you point out when you had some of the worst times, what you considered worse, and how you rose back up the ladder in your own life? Can you remember how you did that? Can you remember how you had to change your mindset, change your attitude? Or as Dr. Michael Beckwith says, if you change your attitude, you'll change your altitude. Change of attitude will change. In other words, you're not going to stay at the same level forever. And if you should be at the same level, you will have what? Acquired more information, more sustenance, more essential items, tools of personal transformation, more awareness, more remembrance. You start utilizing things that work better for you, which therefore what? The mind, our consciousness is the soil of reasoning. The sea of conscious awareness and remembrance is inside. The matrix, the womb of you is inside. It is known that we're consciously thinking all the time of who we are, where we'd like to be, what we don't want. And in essence, not only Reverend Ike has said it, the late Dr. Wayne, the late Reverend Ike has said it, the late Dr. Wayne W. Dyer has said it. Watch what you think. And not only that, watch what you feel. Reverend Ike said it all the time. The feelings, listen to this, the feelings get the blessings. How you feel attracts what actually takes off in your life. So when you're walking, I have to catch myself sometimes when I'm walking. Sometimes I'll ask myself, how do I feel? And I'll say, wow, I feel tired. But then I cancel that thought. Why? Because there's a lot of emotions in that. Your emotions actually convince you more than your thoughts. Did you know that? Did you know that your emotional energy is your magnetic side? And that's the side that attracts how you really feel at that moment. And if there's enough weight, enough gravity, brevity to that feeling, that unlocks a door. And all the things that are possible that match that feeling start flowing in your direction. That's people, places, things, and events and situations. Match that frequency that you have on the inside. That's why it's so important for us to be careful with what you are saying, how you describe your situations, your relationships, be it in the professional or personal world. Personal world. How you feel actually is the thing that kicks it off. It is the key and the magnet, your feelings, your emotions. You think of emotions, energy out. Energy has to come from someplace, energy has to go to someplace, right? E as in X means out. E as in EX, Latin word, Latin letter. Out. Come out of, come from. What? Motion. Emotions are not really that sensitive, wishy-washy kind of feeling. Emotions is energy that's thrown out of something that's already in motion, already moving. So let's begin to close out this program. And before I do that, I'm going to do a little short meditation to close this out. But before I do that, let me give you some contact information. If you have any questions, you can send them to me. If you have connected with me in my friendship group on Facebook, private inbox message, messenger, Facebook message. Email me at iam.circleofgrace with the number one at the end at yahoo.com. Or better yet, use my Gmail, which is iam.circleofgrace1 at gmail.com. Those of you who are out here in Albuquerque, Santa Fe, Los Lunas, who want to know when am I doing that next monthly channeling. It took me a while to get the email together. I'm going to start sending out emails tonight and tomorrow, getting them all out. We are going to do a meditation a week from tomorrow. So tomorrow is the 16th, so a week from tomorrow, we're doing a meditation at the House of Hathor, which is Sister Renelle's house, my Sister Renelle's home. Those of you who are on the list, we're going to do something very unique. And when you get the email, you will see it. But what we're doing is that we are having uh, a holiday sale before the meditation. Now, after the meditation is over, when the meditation's over, if there's some items there, you can still purchase these items. Okay. Most of the items that we have will be on a donation basis. You pay whatever you think it's worth to you. The things that won't be on a donation will be the healing head pyramids that she has. Those have their basic price. SEAC tea, healing SEAC healing tea. She'll have a few of those, and her Organo Gold coffee will be. Those three items have their price, but the other items will be clothes. Some clothes will be on sale. Some toys that she has will be on sale. She's going to have also an assorted items. William, her son, he's having rock sculpture, rock art. He'll have some photos of his own, maybe some artwork. I'm going to have my art prints. Usually my art prints go for like $5, but on Friday the 23rd at 4:30 p.m. you pay whatever you want for my art prints. I don't care. Some were going for $10 or $20, but when we do our events, they go for 5. If you want to buy it for $1, please buy it. Okay, so you'll be welcome to have whatever's left, and then that's some greatest incentive for me because I'm working on some new pieces, and I'm gonna have some new paintings also to be able to put out. So this is all important, starting fresh for 2017. So we're gonna have this holiday sale. It's gonna kick off on Friday, December the 23rd at 4:30 p.m. So you're gonna have a good solid 2 hours before the meditation starts. If you want to get there early and check out the goodies, or after the meditation, you can still check out the things that are there to be sold. So this is our special pre-Christmas. Yes, it's going to be a pre-Christmas, remembrance meditation and birthday celebration for Renelle. It's her birthday is on December the 24th. This is going to be a potluck affair. So if you come, share with some food and drink for the celebration after the meditation. All right. So those of you who are on my email list, you'll be getting that email list no later than the wee hours of tomorrow morning. I've got a lot of names to put, but the email is already solid. It's nice and colorful, so please read it. If you want to bring somebody with you, just let them either email me by the email because they're going out by my Gmail account, or you'll see my phone number down. They can call on my phone. I may not have my, I don't know if I use my mobile number on there, but if you know my mobile number, it's okay for you to give it out to anybody that you might want to invite, okay? So let's get into this meditation. This meditation is going to help lock in the fact that you're going to treat yourself better in every way. So I want you to place the energy of light, white light around you, and also a violet flame around you, because the violet flame is going to balance out any of the old karmic energy that prevented you from treating yourself better, from loving yourself better. Feel the presence of that light all the way around your body, the violet light infused with the white light. So it may come off to you as being like a lavender range of light around you. I'm always projecting it in every show now so you can see. You see there's a tint of pink in there, and there's a tint of violet in there. So you can see it, and projecting it is right out here so you can get it. As you do this, just relax into it with your deep breathing. Center yourself in your heart chakra and ground yourself at the same time. So if you're seated or you're lying down, it's flowing out of your feet and flowing out of the second and the root chakra, going down into your body. And this is assisting you at all costs. And you are allowing yourself to feel and receive. Allow a golden light to be infused into that white and violet flame, a golden flame, and relax. Just as you're doing this, you begin to see all possibilities. Rather than thinking that the sky is the limit, that anything is possible, your awareness is that all things become everything. Every good thing is possible. Every good thing is possible. You can feel the presence of every good thing, every good opportunity, every new association for you, every new alliance. You're just feeling the presence of all things being right for you. All things being right for you. Your environment has the right energy so that you could spring forward into a new environment. The right people are around you so you can spring forward into a new alliance. Right situation is there so you can spring forward into expansion. Begin to see energy flowing out of your hands, out of your heart center, out of your temples, like an antenna. And as energy is flowing out of you through the electronic side of you, through the magnetic side of you, you are receiving. All things are flowing in accordance with your divinity. You are moving away from ego consciousness There's something I'm going to introduce next week called geo consciousness. I'm going to actually introduce it. I hinted about it a little bit I talked about it a little bit yesterday in my blog talk radio show, but I'm going to fully talk about it next week. Geo consciousness. We're moving you away from the personal ego side. You want to know that there's this divine connection that you have with that which is infinite, that which is ongoing, that's blessing you through you. Remember, let's now shift and know that you are the master of your life. You are the creator in your life. You are the co-creator because you have aligned and attuned yourself with divine source, divine providence, divine attributes, divine spirit, celestial spirit. There's an air of oneness, no separation. This matrix of illusions, yes, is falling away, but the matrix is always intact, because it's on the inside of you. This grid of energy. You have a matrix on the inside of you, made up of meridians and chakra points, and nexus points throughout the chakra points, known as acupuncture, acupressure points. That is your matrix. The folds of your brain, another part of your matrix. The muscles, the bones, the nerves, the tendons, hair, nails, teeth, a part of your matrix. Your external, taking you into the internal form. Now, begin to feel yourself as a light form, energetic form. I'm not talking about how you may display light for others to see. I'm talking about that pure chi essence of energy, the intrinsic energy that can rarely be seen but is felt. It is very important to be the energy field, be the chi that you are, because in essence that's who you are. And as you're doing this, you're not in competition with anybody. You're not under pressure to do this. You are just connecting with you, that spiritual being on the inside. Know that you are now retreating yourself. You are loving yourself more because you can. And you shall, without any doubt in your mind, love yourself more. Just feel that and embrace that. Embrace that consciousness and awareness and remembrance that you've done this before. Also, that you're raising your level of self-esteem, which is what? Now you are enlivening yourself, which is improving yourself and empowering yourself so that you what? Free yourself from old thought patterns. That's what you're doing, freeing yourself from old thought patterns. As you free yourself from these old thought patterns, so you're being accountable and responsible for you, right? Therefore, you're allowing yourself to love yourself, to make yourself happier, and you're preparing the grounds, the consciousness, the depths of your consciousness, which is the soil of yourself, to receive more. So if you don't prepare your mindset, if you don't change from inside some aspect of yourself, you will not be able to recognize something new that you've asked for to come up, to attract into yourself. This is why I said sometimes a couple of weeks ago, and I said it. Hatred is a virus, and either you quarantine it, fix it, or delete it. Fix it means you change it. You change it into its opposite, which is love. If it can't be changed into its opposite, you must delete it from your life. You must get rid of it, which means you don't care to go into that. You're changing your frequency so it disappears. So just like your computer has a virus, you have to either quarantine it, fix the problem, or delete it. It is the same when you're seeking to acquire new information, new levels of self mastery. You have to look at what works and what doesn't work, what's bogging you down, what's slowing you down, what's releasing you. You have to make those changes. So, know in this meditation that you are at the threshold of absolute change, absolute balance, absolute wellness for you, absolute attunement, absolute alignment for you, absolute freedom of awareness in your consciousness at your deepest part for you. Everything you're doing is for yourself. Why? Just like late Reverend Ike says here, you're number one. You're the most important person that you have to make the change with. And if you make that change with yourself, for yourself, everyone that's connected to you will see that you are doing this. And this is another thing. When you're seeking to make some real deep rooted changes and some things that you're seeking to attract into your life, make sure, as like Wayne Dyer says, make sure that you're sharing with like minded or same minded people. People who have good opinions, as he says, aren't living your life because their opinions are based on their experiences, good, bad, or indifferent, which could overshadow what you're doing. So it's important, like if you got an idea, you have an idea about an invention that you're going to do, it's best that you work on that invention in silence, in secrecy, for a while, until you get it to the point that you're ready to attract more finances for it and then get it out there, whatever that is. Only share with those of similar or better yet same mind. Why? Because those of the same mind usually have similar or same experiences, good, bad, or indifferent, that you have had, therefore understand your direction, therefore are not impacting the way you would think or whatever decision that you're going to make. So this is the closing of our show. I just want you to go with this in your mind. Whatever light ray that you choose to work with that and see your life expand as you're planting new seeds into your consciousness and that you are consciously aware that you can attract and have whatever you want to have. As Reverend Ike would say, be, do, and have. When you hear people say that, that comes from him. He had been saying be, do, and have way back. Be, do, and have. He's been saying that term, be, do, and have, as far back as the late 50s. Late 50s, going into the early 60s. Be, do, and have. In fact, put it back here. He wrote it again, 1982, but he's had it before then. So that's what it's about. You want to be more, do more, and have more. Be accountable for you, be responsible for you, and all shall be even better for you. Then you can help someone else. He used to say he can't help a poor person if he's like a poor person. He has to raise his awareness, raise his consciousness to a better level that he can help those who are poor leave poverty consciousness behind. But he couldn't help you if he was poor himself. So I add on to this. Not everybody's going to have all the wealth in the world to help you. But guess what? If their heart, the spiritual heart, is rich and abundant and prosperous, that person's energy can still bless you. Remember, the master teachers are here to teach you to go beyond them. I'm Brother Francis Z. Revels-Bey. Thank you for joining me on Circle of Grace 1 live, or Circle of Grace 1 with myself, Brother Francis Z. Revels-Bey. All of the contact information is here by emails, iam.circlegrace1@yahoo.com or iam.circlegrace1@gmail.com. If you want to find out more about what I'm doing, I have these 5 basic spiritual courses being sold in a PDF format for $27 each. You buy all 5, you get them for $118. You can go to my website and learn more about them. Go to http:// capital CIRCLEOF capital GRACE1 dot byregion.net, and you can read all my pages, read my current blogs and articles and specials that I'm offering right there. Thank you so much. I'll be back here on the 21st, which is Thursday at about 5 p.m. I'll be on Wednesday the 20th on Blog Talk Radio at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, which is 6 Eastern, 5 Central, and 3 o'clock Pacific for 30 minutes next Wednesday. If you're here in the Southwest in Albuquerque, Santa Fe here in New Mexico, for you, it is 4 p.m. next Wednesday, and next Thursday right here at 5 p.m. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being supportive to my work and my meditations and everything that I've done that you see me do there on Facebook. Well, as I always say, Akhenaten says, my grace is your grace. He and I say, our grace is your grace. And until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we are alive and well in the age of remembrance. See you next week. Thank you so much. I love you unconditionally.